What's going on, guys? Justin here from Bloodlines Archery. I'm here at the Sirius Archery products today. I'm here to build some arrows, so come along with me, check it out. After you guys. All right, guys, so we're here in the warehouse here with Tyler. He's gonna be helping us build these arrows today. So we're gonna start off with the spine alignment.
Yep, so we've got Justin's order sheet here. He's gonna get some Gemini 300s. So we're gonna pull them off the rack, and our first step will be getting them spine aligned. It's 12 Gemini 300s. We're gonna get them spine aligned. All right, so we use Ram spine testers here, so we're just gonna go one at a time. Get the arrow in there, we'll zero out our gauge. And then this is the industry standard weight, kind of keeps everything in spec across the board. So we'll just apply that weight. And then we are just looking for that stiff side of the run out gauge. Shouldn't be too much here. The Geminis are very consistent. So we're just watching for that needle to move to the stiff side, about right there. And then all we do is take a little silver Sharpie right behind our label here, in line with where that needle went to the stiff side. I'm just gonna give that a little mark. And we're gonna go ahead and finish these up and move on to the next step.
So you're putting this arrow on either side. Does it matter how much is hanging off either side there?
Yeah, so the rollers here are set at industry standard 28 inches. Weights obviously industry standard. So we're just trying to, we don't measure it exactly, but just kind of eyeballing, make sure we got equal overhang on each side, get it pretty close. With this, it's not as important because we're just looking for that stiff side, so you'll still be able to find that even if you're not quite exact. If we were actually measuring these looking to test the true spine like of a 300, we would want to make sure this is nice and even, and then you would actually be counting the rotations and making sure it gets to that 0.3 inches of deflection, which is basically what that spine means. With this industry 28 standard length and this standard weight, it's measuring a deflection point. So basically it's a 300 spine is 0.3 inches of deflection under these parameters. All right, so we just got all the arrows spine aligned. Next step is we're going to pull Justin's components. He's using the aluminum post stainless steel sleeve half jacket, and we're gonna cut that down to 75 grains. So we're gonna grab those here now. There's 12, and jump over here, we'll get our sleeves. And then our nocks, we use the AAE IP5 nocks. And with the Geminis, you'll be getting white. 11, 12. So got those and ready to go to the next step, which is gonna be cutting. Let's step back to front.
All right, so we've got these spine aligned. So we came over here to Sirius's precision cutting machine. It's able to cut 12 arrows at once. It's very precise, accurate. So Tyler's gonna take over and get these cut for us.
Yeah, so we've got them all set up in our little jigs here, and we're gonna give it some juice and it'll cut them all down to Justin's length, and we'll move on to the next step. All right, so we just pulled the arrows off the saw. The saw does use some water to keep dust down in the shop, so we're gonna dry these off and then we're gonna move on and keep the build going.
All right, so we got these bad boys cut up. Tyler went ahead and put these nocks in with these knock collars, part of their special hunting lifetime warranty they do now. I brought my own wraps that I'm gonna have them use, so I'm gonna have him wrap these up for me.
Do you want like this way?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Now you recommend clean all the shafts?
Yeah, definitely. We just typically use like 99% alcohol here. Just get any of that carbon dust or oil from your fingers or anything that might have got on them in shipping or packaging. Just nice to go ahead and get a nice clean base for the wrap. Make sure it sticks down good.
You can see some of the carbon already coming off.
Right, yeah, so we always like to do that. You can still get everything to stick without it, but it just gives you that little bit of extra grab.
These knot collars add durability.
Yeah, so like Justin said, last year, as part of our Hunt Pro guarantee with any full custom order, Easy Button, Midwest Whitetail Edition, T-Bone Edition, all of the arrows are gonna come with these knot collars. Main benefit of them is for, you know, if you're group shooting or rearward impacts of the arrow, just definitely helps kind of protect that carbon, and hopefully the knock or the collar is going to fail, but the integrity of the arrow will stay in there, so you can just swap out a new knock and keep shooting that arrow. Nice and light. They only weigh about 3 grains, so not really affecting FOC or total arrow weight too much.
Great.
So got those all cleaned off. We got our mouse pad here, and we're gonna get these wrapped. Yeah, sometimes with these wraps, it'll pick up the paper. I was just gonna do that to press that seam down.
The wrinkles in the shirt help with pressing the seam down.
Yeah, that's why I don't iron anything.
Right, so got set up on the bits here. I'm going with the left helical. A lot of people argue if it matters if you go right or left. The two guys here, Tyler and Connor, they go right. I clock left. We're probably not good enough to really tell if it makes a difference, but that's just what we go with. They offer both here, or straight as well. I'm running the mini sabers from DC Arrows. So he's going to go ahead and start fletching these up, and then we'll check back in when we get some of these done.
Good. There's one done. We're gonna go ahead and get these other 5 fletched up.
Like I said, I'm running with the Super Sabers, but as you can see, they got a whole wall along with bins and bins of all kinds of different fletchings. You got the Blazer Heats, you got the X veins, you got Flex Fletch. Over there we got tack veins, feathers. So they got a big variety. If they don't have them, they might be able to get them. So just call the shop, see if they can get them in for you. But pretty much everything you need to customize your arrow to whatever you want it to be.
So we got our fletching done. Next is inserts. I believe I said in the beginning, but Justin's going with the aluminum post, stainless steel sleeve half jacket, but we're gonna cut them down to 75 grains. So this is how we do that. On the half jacket, if you're going for that even number 75, it's super simple. Right here on the post, there's a little pre-machine cut line. What we've been liking lately is just this cheap pair of little bolt cutters we got at Harbor Freight. You put it right in that line, and they just cut it off. Super simple. We usually have it in a jig, but for the sake of the video, I just pop it off real quick. But when you're cutting down your inserts, sometimes, whether you're using a Dremel tool, these snips like that, it will leave a little bit of a jagged edge. So we just come right here to the sander. We're just gonna round that off a little bit. So we'll round that off. Like I said, that pre-machine cut line is going to be very close to your 75, but we do have our scale here just to make sure. So we'll take our sleeve and our post and put it here on our scale, 75.2. So we're going to get those rest of those cut down to the same, and then we'll go over and get them installed. We used to cut like all of these with the Dremel, and it was just a big waste of time and cutting like So we've got our fletched arrow here. We're gonna put the components in. Got our half jacket cut down to 75 grains. And for those of you who haven't yet seen one of our installation videos, we do use a 2-part epoxy, which we sell on our website. These are just the bulk tubes that we have here in the shop for how many orders we do, but ones that you'll buy from us, it comes in a nice little 2-part tube with a plunger, and it is the same mixture that we're using here. So it's equal parts 1-to-1. We're gonna get that spread out here on our cardboard. We'll get it mixed up. To activate it, I just use one of the posts that I'm gonna be installing with. You can use a toothpick, popsicle stick, pretty much anything will work. I just use this because I've always got it when I'm doing an install, and just get it nice and mixed up. I like to move both ways, just make sure that we don't have any pockets where it's non-mixed.
Is there too much or too little you can put on the cardboard at a time?
So with this, you've got about 5-minute working time. So typically what I like to do is about a nickel size of each part, and then I'll do about 3 arrows at a time. And then by that time, it's gonna be starting to get tacky and a little bit less workable. And I'll just go ahead and do 3 arrows and then start on my next 3 with a new batch. So right there, we're pretty much mixed up. With these half jacket systems, you want to install the sleeve first. So it's going to be very hard to see in this video, but the half jacket sleeves do have a little tooling ring. That tooling ring is going to be positioned to the front of the arrow, so we're going to slide that on to where that tooling ring is facing the front. And now we're going to just get a little bit of epoxy. You want excess on this, there's going to be squeeze out, we'll wipe that off, but we just want to make sure we're getting enough to get full coverage. So first thing I like to do is just spin my shaft. I've done this enough, I know basically how far down to go to get full coverage under that sleeve. We'll get the epoxy on there, and if you need more, you can always go back and get some, but usually there'll be enough left on the post. And as you're inserting the post, you just want to kind of go up and down while twisting. Just again, we're looking for full coverage. Get that nice and seated there, and then we'll slide our half jacket sleeve up. Again, kind of spinning the whole time, just make sure we're getting full coverage on all the pieces of this component. One thing I didn't mention, we do like to do this with a field tip in. It just gives you a better place to grab the post. Now I'll just wipe off the excess. So we've got our field point in there, got all the excess wiped off, and we do have this on a spinner, so we're just gonna double check, make sure everything's looking good spin-wise. And kind of give it just a little bit quarter rotations and find that sweet spot. It's all very close and just micro tuning it. There it is. So there we have it. Now what I like to do is just kind of, once I find that sweet spot, just double check that my sleeve is fully seated against the post. And then here we do have some drying racks built on our table. We're just gonna let it dry in a vertical position, make sure that everything stays concentric. And like I said, that should dry up in about 5-6 minutes. I usually like to give them more than that before I'll shoot anything, but 5-6 minutes, we'll come back, check the cardboard. If that's dried up, we'll get this cleaned up and we'll move on to packaging. Fluctuating and never really settles out, but
Shooting 450 total.
you'll be, yeah, pretty much right there.
Yeah, perfect.
And that's probably the one thing that the knock collar
yeah.
isn't on the calculator, and that's 3 grains,
Yeah.
so it's pretty much.
That's what I was hoping for.
And then yeah, like there's slight variances in blue fletchings, like,
Yeah.
and you'd be amazed if you just open a box of fletchings, the grain variance between fletchings.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
And I've done it with every brand. It's not just like one brand thing. Like you can have one vein that's 7.5, and then you pull one right after, and it's like 5.9. So it's like there's a lot of variances, which is not a huge deal. I mean, nobody's really going to shoot out the difference, but it's just something that most people don't really even pay attention to.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Sweet. So we got the weight on that arrow. We're gonna get a build sheet going, and then we'll pack them up, and Justin will have a new set for this year. This isn't gonna be very flattering, but 100 grain broadhead, 454.
Good job on the math.
Simple numbers.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So this is an option that you can get on our full customized arrow service. At the very end, it'll ask if you'd like a build sheet, and that's what we're going to do right now. Basically, it's going to itemize all the selections that you chose for your build, as well as the original tube weights and some other things. And basically what that does is we keep a copy in our system. You'll be mailed a copy with your order, and that way if you want to reorder the exact same stuff, we'll be able to match them exactly with no variance between the orders. So that's what we're doing right now for Justin. We're going to get his put in here. I'll show you this part too. I actually haven't put one of these in an envelope before, so I'm just going to approximate our folds here. Hopefully it'll fit. I think I might have went too big, but all right, we just pulled these off the drying rack. The inserts are all cured up, and our last step is we're gonna put some shaft conditioner on these and get them boxed up. So just take a little microfiber with some of our shaft conditioner, and you're just kind of lightly refreshing that carbon, give it a little bit of coating and help pull out of targets.
Maybe you want to miss the label.
Yeah, I don't put anything on the label. The label is pretty smooth. It's not going to hurt anything, but I pretty much just do any of the exposed carbon. And then just try to keep it away from the wraps and stuff.
Most studies should support that counterclockwise taping is better than
Yeah.
clockwise.
Yeah, if you have left helical shafts, you want to tape counterclockwise.
Wipe open the package.
All right.
All right, so we got these boxed up. So I will be using these this coming season. So I got a big shout out to Connor, Tyler, Seth. Appreciate you guys letting me
Yeah,
hang out with
absolutely.
y'all for the day.
It was nice, pleasure having you come down. We always like seeing people that use our product and support us, and it was cool to get to do that build for you.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions or you want a link to this kind of build, I'll put that in the comment section down below. You guys can click on that and shoot Sirius, and good luck this season.